checking in. I am Ryan McGough, the bodybuilding businessman and entrepreneur. I'm coming at you with an episode of the real estate podcast, the Vision podcast from Intellicom Investments. Please like and subscribe if you got something from this, if I helped you at all. Pass it along, help somebody else. The theme and the thought today, just a quick video, quick content to put out there. I'm doing once a month. So this is my May or the end of April, whatever you want to look at it, video. And a lot has happened. You know, I'm remembering back to some of the times where I put a lot of content out, and I was in Brazil and we were renovating a house potentially for us and renting our house out and living rent free and going on vacation and doing some of these cool things that may have been ahead of the time that I was supposed to and should have done these things. But not to say that it was a problem. I think that the good thing about leaving and stepping back from the business is you get to see when you're not there, what happens, how it goes. The construction side of things is always, needs that personnel there. In the real estate world, it does. There's always got to be somebody checking up on things. And that's just the level of early on renovations and early on stuff. When you start to trust contractors, there's more of a contractual agreement that says here's how this agreement's going to work out, and you could put more levels of like trust inside of that agreement where you say like, well, we'll just check the work at the end of, let's say, a fourth of the contract, make sure it's good. So but still, my whole career in business and real estate and everything has been, from former mistakes, from former past problems and issues that challenged me to rise up. And instead of giving up, which I'm telling you, man, anybody who's in business or real estate probably has thought about it. Anybody anywhere that's in something for a long period of time, way past the feelings of this new thing is gone, right? There's only the day in, the day out activities and struggles and challenges. And man, those things are tough. There's some things, permitting offices or health departments or any of that, come back and just really are so disorganized and problematic. It's almost like they just don't want anything to be developed in their place. And man, the one good thing about struggles and challenges and obstacles is it at least teaches us like what we don't want to go do. Because to get into the game for a lot of projects, we had to go after like abandoned houses or just things that had absolutely no interest whatsoever from anybody else. And the great thing about those is it taught us so much about what to get into, what not to get into, that even if something looks like it's like a $15,000 house, wow, what a deal, right? The amount of time, energy, permitting, on-site problems, and the level of risk on those is much, much, much higher, But the issue with, let's say, a $20,000 quick flip renovation, it's they don't want to give that house away for that. So you get into a reason why you can do some of those long-term, drawn-out renovations like that. And the profit margin can be good. You can take a $15,000 house that's worth $300,000 when it's done, right? You just never know, but it might take you $150,000 to do it and 3 years to do it, right? So there is very much a level of learning of the struggles and the challenges that have come and being able to adapt to them and see, okay, that's not where we want to be. It was a hot market. We were inexperienced, so that's what we'll take. But now we can go after a $20,000 to $50,000 renovation range, right, within my area, the DC metro area. So we can tighten up, stick to hot areas that are going to sell quick, right? And the reason is because a beautiful thing just happened. So we had to walk through those challenges, learn what we did want, we didn't want, start tightening up and getting intentional with the things that we want to do. And in that way, we found hotter markets are always going to be safer bets, right? Not not ever inflating that budget, saying here's what we are, here's what we need to be, sticking to that budget and doing that. So in doing that, we've had a lot of successful exits over the past 1 year, if you will. Some that we just bought and we just sold right away, wholesale. We didn't even need to do any work on it, and the value was already worth more. So that level of risk was at its lowest. So the beautiful thing, I've been posting out, all about it. I'm in some masterminds, all of that. Didn't stop. Said, you know what? We're ready. We've done enough flips, 10 exits over the past few years. We're ready to start getting intentional. We know what we want. Our marketing brings in 3 to 5 flips per quarter. We need to capitalize on that. We need to bring one person on. Now, usually one person on is a dedicated funder. And I put it out, and I put out something that would give a huge interest return on their investment, a huge interest portion of our flips, 30% return on their investment. So if they invest $300,000, which is what we're kind of looking for over the course of, let's say, 3 to 4 months, this set of flips, right? We're going to do 3 to 5 flips. We want 1.2 or 1.1 to $2 million worth of assets. Want it to be in good areas, hot areas, DC Metro or Richmond to Virginia Beach, staying right where we located, where we are, and want this dedicated revolving capital, right? And if we can do that, we don't need to go out, raise as much money. We don't have to look in other places. We have one dedicated person who just quickly can review the numbers and say, you got it, you're in. So what this lets us do is we get the loans in our name. So we take the risk into that loan of the property, but we have no interest loans, no deferred interest, so we don't have to pay anything. So in finding these loans and these situations that will allow us to scale, and then adding on top of that to one person who's dedicated into a fund, if you will, for this revolving capital for us, we just deploy $50,000 on this one, construction costs and a down payment, $100,000 on this one, right? But we have to be really strategic in what that return is going to be, because if we give away 30% on that $300,000, which is $90,000, we can't have risky properties. We can't have unknowns. We need to make sure these are all going to hit our numbers. If we're buying a $500,000 house with a $100,000 down payment, we're giving away $30,000. So to make sure we get a 70-30 split of the work that we do, we have to make sure this is going to cash flow $100,000, right? And then we give away 30, then 70 comes for us for managing the construction, right? So that's just an example, but we can't go and get bigger properties and more expensive properties and then have a sub $50,000 margin, because we already gave away 30 of that thousand. We can't go and be the time, energy, construction, on-site materials, right? And have those time consuming things on our plate for 3 to 5 flips, and then also actually be the one who makes the minority amount of that profit too. So there's a lot that we have to, with that dedicated capital at 30%, we have to do and make sure. We also have deadlines, very strict. We're going to be at three months finishing, and under contract up by month 4. So we basically have to make sure that this property, we can finish it in 3 months, and in month 3 we put it on the market, and we're going to get, it's going to hit within 1 month. So it also tightens up our timelines for everything. We're not going and doing a bunch of permitting. We're not doing expansions. We're not, right? So we need to find properties that match in hot areas. We're not going super rural. We're not going 6 months on the market, right? Because then we would be taking one round of investments right now, we would be exiting next year. So to do what we want to do, which is do 3 to 5 per quarter, which is, every 3 months, we need to tighten up exactly what we're doing, know exactly what we're looking for, and be really intentional on those 3 properties. Then at the same time, we can't have this investment of, aside from the loan as a second position, be so much money that they're investing 100,000 and we're splitting with them essentially a small pot of 50,000. So we need to make sure our ARVs are on point. We can't go in and then when the appraisal comes, it's only, let's say we expected it to be 300,000 and it's 250,000. So now our profit is smaller, and the amount of down payment needed from this dedicated funding source at 30% is more. So we want to keep the amount brought in by our 30% dedicated funder as low as possible, and that means we get the best deal as possible, and we don't inflate our after repair value estimates, because if we do, that's one sure way that we're going to need to put more of this 30% down. So it's great to do. It's awesome. It opens the doors into what we can do. We can close in 2 weeks now. We're operating strictly on other people's capital. We have no holding costs as it pertains to the loans themselves. And it allows us to go in and go out very quickly, find what we want, close in 2 weeks. So it gives us more of a value to the person selling their house as well. And it's pretty crazy to be 3 years deep and saying, hey, we're in negotiations with a totally other people's capital scenario and situation, right? So now all my capital, all of our capital as a company can go to marketing costs, getting more lists, buying more places that people might be needing to sell buying more places where people's numbers, names, and all of that might be in a place for them to need to sell fast. We might put some ads out, right? Have people come to us. So it allows us to, instead of buying the materials, paying for the construction, managing the construction, right? It allows us to be able to pay for marketing, for operating expenses, build our team up. Maybe we get a dedicated project manager to go out and look at all these properties and do that job instead of me doing that job. So using other people's capital allows us faster deployment, allows us the ability to do more deals if we have a rotating account that we can just pull from. And it allows us to have our own capital to go back to our company to build a bigger machine, a bigger marketing machine to go out and find more deals and make more deals make sense. So that's, I think, the really cool things right now that's going on in telecom investments, flipping business, as we've moved to a total other people's capital model. We also, along with that, did get another partner who, if our dedicated partner is going to just take care of the costs associated with the loans and the purchasing of these properties, they're going to be a material lender. So dedicated 10,000, 20,000, because we do all of our own designs, we do all of our own textures, our own that. So we always have to start up with like 10,000 in materials to start the project. And then we get to, once we build it, submit our draws and those come back. So we did get 2 dedicated funding sources to that. And one thing I will say about all of this, man, I cannot tell you how many times I get told no. I cannot tell you, it's been 3 years. I cannot tell you how many times I put it out there that we're looking for a dedicated source, all of that, right? Like I had to be posting all the bathrooms and the not closets, but the bathrooms and the flooring and the paint and all of the areas in all of these houses that were done. And so people day in and day out see, oh, bathrooms, nice closets. I mean, I don't know why I keep saying closets. Kitchens, nice kitchens, nice closets too, but I don't know. That is one thing to think about, actually, closets. Do you need to do much. There's definitely a level of too little in closets, right? If it doesn't have any trim around the sides and it's all gaps and it's like not painted at all, I think there's a level of, well, you just kind of skip that. But I like to do just enough, but not too much. I'm not like skim coating closets and and all that. But kitchens and bathrooms. I meant to say kitchens. So being a kitchen and bathroom, quick flipper, knowing exactly what colors are in, what textures, doing custom shower pans instead of pre-made pans. That's some of the things that kind of give that separation. But at the same time, knowing, well, we're in a $200,000 house, so like we're not going to be going that big. Now we're going to go tubs with a tile surround instead of pre-made custom pans, right? So like also knowing what that investment is needed and not overdoing it, but just doing the right amount too. So yeah, so great news, big things coming, big things happening. We now have moved to and struggled to. I'm telling you, there's been a lot of times we almost ran out of money. A lot of times we didn't know if that next project was going to hit. When I was in Brazil and I was closing these 3 properties coming up, I had no idea that I was going to need to close all 3 of these properties to really make sure we had enough, money going forward and all of that. And it was a tight time. It was a tough time. I'm blessed to have gone and not had any rent for quite some time because there was nothing coming in. But now when all of these hit and they do sell, it is going to be back to the summertime. So it was very much a winter moment, but now we're back to the summer where we have moved to a other people's capital scenario where we give away a little more equity, but it allows us the freedom to make quick decisions and always have this capital rotating and ready for us to do 3 to 5 flips, right? If we did 5 properties at a $50,000 down payment for each one, that lets us maximize our 300,000. They come back, some are 40,000 in profit, some are 75, some are, right? It gives us that mixture, but it allows us to keep going, keep getting better, keep practicing, and be on pace essentially to do a minimum of 12, to 18, 20 flips per year at this point. So big news, big excitement, and I kind of have hit one of those thresholds in our industry, using other people's capital and other people's investments and partnerships to give away more, but be able to have a smaller piece of a bigger pie, which is more important if you ask me. So keep doing what you do. If you're in the real estate world, reach out. How can I help? Hopefully I gave you some value here. If I did, help me out, like, subscribe, share, all that. And I will catch you on the next video next month. So thanks y'all. Thanks for watching Telecom Investments Real Estate Podcast. I don't even know the number at this point, but thanks for tuning in, y'all. Peace.